Hello there, this is Randil. Welcome back to our channel. Recently, we have been talking about reported speech. Under reported speech main topic, we already discussed all about reported statements, questions, commands and requests. If you wish to watch my previous videos on reported speech, you can use the above link. Watch all my previous videos on reported speech. Then you can have a complete understanding on reported speech, its usage, formulation and concept. In today's video, we will only be looking at specific cases. When you want to convey an order, request, command, refusal, advice, proposal, suggestion, denial, this video will be the right one for you because I have already included all the information and important reporting verbs that can be used to convey those messages with specific meaning. I have already included 30 examples. Then join me in this lesson. If you are ready, let's get started. Reported speech revision part 4. As I told you in the introduction, in this revision video, we will be looking at some specific cases under reported speech main lesson. When we want to convey advice, offer, order, promise or suggestion, in reported speech, we use the verbs advise, offer, order, promise, suggest, followed by the to infinitive and then the rest of the sentence. After some verbs, we can also use a clause. First example.
Why don't we write a letter?
She said, why don't we write a letter?
In direct speech, since this is a suggestion, we can use suggest or recommend as reporting verbs. Now we can change the above statement from direct speech into reported speech.
She suggested writing a letter.
After the verb suggested, you can use a gerund. Write in the recommendation statement changes into writing, which is the gerund. Let's move on to the second example. Would you like to dance? I said to her, would you like to dance? In direct speech. Since this is an invitation, you can use invited as the reporting verb. In reported speech, I invited her to dance. Let's move on to the next example.
Shall I drive you home?
She said to them, shall I drive you home?
In direct speech, since this is an offer, you can use offered as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
she offered to drive them home.
Let's move on to the next example. Sorry for the inconvenience. We said to him, sorry for the inconvenience in direct speech. This is an apology. So you can use apologized as the reporting verb. In reported speech, we apologize to him for the inconvenience. Next example. Why don't we take a break? He said to me, why don't we take a break? In direct speech, it is a suggestion. So you can use suggested as the reporting verb. Remember, when you use suggested as the reporting verb, the second verb should be kept as the gerund. So take changes into taking. In reported speech, he suggested taking a break. Next example.
Would you like to join me for a walk?
She said to them, would you like to join me for a walk?
In direct speech, this is an invitation. So you can use invited as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
she invited them to join her for a walk.
Next example.
Shall I drive you home?
She said to me, shall I drive you home?
In direct speech, this is an offer. So you can use offered as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
she offered to drive me home.
Next example.
Please, please, mommy, don't leave me alone.
She said to her mother, please, please, mommy, don't leave me alone.
In direct speech, this is a strong request. So you can use begged as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
she begged her mother not to leave her alone.
Cease fire. He said to his soldiers, cease fire. In direct speech, this is a command. So you can use commanded as the reporting verb. In reported speech, he commanded the soldiers to cease fire.
Would you like to go to the concert with me?
She said to me, would you like to go to the concert with me?
In direct speech, This is an invitation, so you can use invited as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
She invited me to go to the concert with her.
don't forget to take your passport.
He said to me, don't forget to take your passport.
In direct speech, this is a reminder, so you can use reminded as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
He reminded me to take my passport.
don't touch the exhibits.
He said to us, don't touch the exhibits.
In direct speech, this is a warning, so you can use warned as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
He warned us not to touch the exhibits.
don't move.
The man with the gun said to us, don't move.
In direct speech, this is a warning, so you can use warned as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
The man with the gun warned us not to move.
get out of the car.
Get out of the car, said the policeman.
In direct speech, this is an order, so you can use ordered as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
The policeman ordered him to get out of the car.
Why don't you sleep overnight at my house?
why don't you sleep overnight at my house? She said. In direct speech, it is a suggestion, so you can use suggested as the reporting verb. Remember, after suggested, you can use that clause. In reported speech, she suggested that I sleep overnight at her house.
It would be a good idea to see the dentist.
It would be a good idea to see the dentist, said my mother. In direct speech, it is a suggestion, so you can use suggested as the reporting verb. Remember, after suggested, you can use that clause. In reported speech, my mother suggested that I see the dentist. I think you should use a different toothbrush. The dentist said, I think you should use a different toothbrush. In direct speech, this is a recommendation, so you can use recommended as the reporting verb. Remember, after the reporting verb recommended, you can use a gerund. In reported speech, the dentist recommended using a different toothbrush.
Why don't you get a mechanic to look at the car?
She said, why don't you get a mechanic to look at the car? In direct speech, remember, this is a suggestion, so you can use suggested as the reporting verb. And also remember, after suggested, you can use that clause. In reported speech, she suggested that I should get a mechanic to look at the car. Or she suggested that I get a mechanic to look at the car.
You should come. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You should come. It's going to be a lot of fun, she said.
In direct speech, it's a persuasion, so you can use persuaded as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
She persuaded me to come.
Why don't you call Jane?
Why don't you call Jane? Kate said.
in direct speech, this is a recommendation, so you can use recommended as the reporting verb. Remember, after recommended, you can use either that clause or gerund. In reported speech,
Kate recommended that I call Jane, or Kate recommended calling Jane.
perhaps you could talk to John about it. Perhaps you could talk to John about it, Kevin said. In direct speech, this is a suggestion, so you can use suggested as the reporting verb. Remember, after suggested, you can use either gerund or that clause. In reported speech, Kevin suggested talking to John about it, or Kevin suggested that I talk to John about it.
I think you should see a doctor.
I think you should see a doctor, she said.
In direct speech, this is a recommendation, so you can use recommended as the reporting verb. Remember, after recommended, you can use either gerund or that clause. In reported speech,
She recommended seeing a doctor, or she recommended that I see a doctor.
I think we should examine the budget carefully at this meeting.
My manager said, I think we should examine the budget carefully at this meeting.
in direct speech, this is a proposal, so you can use proposed as the reporting verb. Remember, after proposed, we can use that clause. In reported speech,
My manager proposed that we examine the budget carefully at the meeting.
remember this meeting changes into that meeting or the meeting. It wasn't me who finished the coffee.
It wasn't me who finished the coffee, he said.
In direct speech, this is a denial, so you can use denied as the reporting verb. Remember, after denied, you can use a gerund. In reported speech,
He denied finishing the coffee.
let's study in the library.
Let's study in the library, he said.
In direct speech, it is a suggestion, so you can use suggested as the reporting verb. Remember, after suggested, you can use either gerund or that clause. In reported speech,
He suggested studying in the library, or he suggested that we study in the library.
it's not a good idea to write your passwords down.
They said it's not a good idea to write your passwords down.
In direct speech, it's a piece of advice, so you can use advised as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
They advised us not to write our passwords down.
let's see. I'll have the risotto, please.
He said, let's see, I'll have the risotto, please.
In direct speech, this is a decision, so you can use decided as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
He decided to have the risotto.
I'll do the report by Friday for sure.
She said, I'll do the report by Friday for sure.
in direct speech, it's a promise, so you can use promised as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
She promised to do the report by Friday.
I broke the window.
She said, I broke the window.
in direct speech, this is an admission, so you can use admitted as the reporting verb. So in reported speech,
She admitted breaking the window.
I'm really sorry, I didn't get back to you sooner.
He said, I am really sorry. I didn't get back to you sooner.
In direct speech, this is an apology, so you can use apologized as the reporting verb. In reported speech,
He apologized for not getting back to me sooner.
this will bring us to the end of our presentation on reported speech. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you find this video important and useful, subscribe to our channel and alarm the notification bell. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye now.